Welcome to the video, guys. You've likely seen many reports, both from the mainstream media and from others on YouTube and elsewhere, about the overzealous police officers that we have running around making themselves look like Keystone cops. Because it's almost a daily occurrence now that new evidence is surfacing showing these police officers going well overboard in relation to the coronavirus lockdown, in most cases it seems acting on guidance rather than actual laws, which is obviously not what the police are supposed to do, as a former Supreme Court judge pointed out just a week or so ago. Now, we had this article on the 14th of April in Spike saying the corona cops are out of control. The heavy-handed enforcement of non-existent laws needs to stop. Northamptonshire Police Nick Adderley addressed a press conference last week sounding more like a military general than the chief of a regional police force, showing once again that some of these police officers are, like I've said, going well too far. And they need to remember that when this is over, people are going to remember this. Adderley said that his officers had given the public a 3-week grace period to understand what is being asked of them during the lockdown and why. Something you have to take from that is key, which is asked, because most of the things that we're being told are not actually covered by any law. They are just, like I've said, guidance. Guidance from the government is not enforceable by law. It has to actually be a law that has passed. As Lord Sumption said recently in relation to people driving from their homes to go for a walk somewhere or take their dogs, the police and many media outlets were reporting that that was against the law, when in actual fact it wasn't. It was against government guidance, but government guidance is not enforceable by law. The police should not be trying to enforce government guidance because that is not what their job is in the UK. It might be in mainland China, but it's certainly not here. So he can take that 3-week grace period and shove it up his arse. He announced that this grace period was over and that officers would now be enforcing the law vigorously. Well, make sure you actually enforce the law then, using fixed penalty notices and arrests, as we already know. He said the police could resort to roadblocks to prevent unnecessary journeys, and if people do not heed the warnings, could also start searching shopping trolleys to make sure that supermarket customers are not buying unnecessary items, which they do not have the power to do, obviously. So he was talking complete nonsense there, and has no right to be saying that to people. Adderley later used Twitter to row back on the threat of searching trolleys, claiming that he was merely making a point about the necessity of individual journeys. It might be easy to dismiss Adderley as one senior officer going slightly over the top, but his intervention was part of a wider trend, as we already know. There is no evidence whatsoever that large numbers of people are ignoring the lockdown. Adderley himself accepted that the vast majority of people were complying and that his force was merely looking to hone in on persistent rule breakers. Oh, you mean people picking up something from the shop you don't agree with? Given the extraordinary levels of public compliance with the lockdown, this begs the question, why was Adderley's press conference necessary at all? Why do the police feel compelled to lecture us about these restrictions? Adderley said part of the police's role is to educate the public about the seriousness of coronavirus. Since when? Which I would have to agree with. They shouldn't be lecturing us about anything. They should just be enforcing the laws. Not guidance, actual laws. Examples of over-policing continue to stack up, as I said. On Good Friday, Cambridgeshire Police tweeted that officers were pleased to find no shoppers in the non-essential aisles at Tesco. On the same day, South Yorkshire Police were forced to apologise after an officer in Rotherham was filmed telling a family they were not allowed in their own front garden. As we have all seen, I've actually seen the footage, it's pretty disturbing. The officer is a complete idiot. Another video shared online showed officers breaking down a man's door because they had heard reports of a gathering. The man was watching TV alone, which I actually think I reported on at the time it happened. It says here, there is also an apparent ignorance of the law among the police. There is no explicit power under the Coronavirus Act 2020 to enter someone's home. Clearly, breaking a man's door down is disproportionate response to a report of a gathering. nor is there any law against buying or selling non-essential items, as I've already said, and should be obvious to absolutely anyone. Which it seems the police are still not getting, because we have this article from the 17th of April. So yesterday, 3 days after the last one, now the police are harassing journalists. The coronavirus coppers keep on crossing the line, as they obviously do. I'm seeing more and more of it, and it's the reason why I had to make this video. The British police force are out of control. Nearly every day now, new evidence emerges of overzealous policing. In enforcing the coronavirus lockdown, police are routinely going way beyond the letter of the already draconian law. Now they are harassing journalists who try to report on their antics. Journalist Michael Segalov was walking in Finsbury Park last week when he saw a distressed woman in an altercation with the police, so he began filming. Which is there on that tweet, we'll play it quickly now.
You ask my opinion.
Right. What do you mean? You're part of the problem. What do you mean?
I'm not. Right.
Why would we go into explaining these things? I have done nothing wrong. I have done nothing wrong. I'm not resisting. I'm not resisting.
Mate, stop video and move on.
Excuse me?
You're on the phone. Essential journeys only.
Yeah, I was going for a walk.
Leave the area, please.
Hey, I'm a journalist. I was going for a walk and I saw some police.
Unless you're exercising.
Yeah, and I am exercising. And I'm a journalist. Yeah, I'm a journalist. And I saw someone get in a conversation with the police.
Can you go over there?
You have to scream and shout on me. And I was exercising.
Carry on exercising.
I was, and then sorry, mate, I'm a journalist.
Yeah, it doesn't
You can see my
matter. It
press
doesn't matter.
card. I was walking past and saw an incident,
We've
so I
been told
stopped
and
for a
advised
second.
people.
I appreciate that, and I was exercising.
Listen,
Can you leave?
And I don't need to be surrounded by...
you're either exercising or you go indoors. So
I was
video me, look, Sergeant Gary Brown,
Yeah, yeah.
3058U, go home.
Can we just stay 2 meters
Go
away?
home.
I'm trying.
Go home.
Go home or you get fined.
Go home
Simple as that.
now.
You're going to find me?
Yes.
I'm asking. I don't understand. I was walking past. I'm a journalist. I saw an incident.
I don't care
I
what
wanted to
you
make sure
are.
it was okay.
Go home.
I was. Hey, you're all very close
You're
to me.
killing people.
I'm not.
Go
I was going for a walk.
home.
You're coming
Can you
close
leave the
to
area,
me.
please?
I'm trying to. I'm now surrounded
Okay,
by
go on
5 people.
Off you go.
Right,
Goodbye.
thank you.
3058U, Gary Brown.
Yeah,
Bye.
thanks, mate.
Goodbye. Thank you. You're saving lives.
You're in the booth. Go home. Go away. Go away now. Essential journeys only. Filming is not an essential journey.
Excuse me, mate.
This is your last.
I'm going. I was just filming, mate. This is my job.
Go home.
I'm not having a go at you.
Get a fine.
I appreciate that. I'm not getting in your way, but you can't yell at journalists going about
instructing you.
my
I'm
responsibility.
instructing you to leave.
And
This is your
I
last
was
chance.
walking away
Turn
from
around
you.
and go, otherwise you'll be fined.
Mate,
You're
this
still
is
staying
not going to
here.
look good for you guys. I'm really sorry.
Oh, good.
Right, well that was a complete shit show, wasn't it? Not only are they ignoring social distancing by all surrounding him like that, but they're acting like complete arseholes and going well above the law. We do also have to remember something that is key here and was not pointed out by the journalist himself. Do you remember when the government announced who was so-called key workers and therefore allowed to move about freely? There was a number of roles that you would consider key workers. And a role at the time that I said was not a key worker and should be stopped from working. And that was, of course, journalists. Now, this guy is apparently a journalist, so why are the police harassing him and trying to stop him? And let's not even get into the complete arseholes that was among this police force. What a bunch of scumbags they are, screaming out, "You are killing people, go home." No, you arseholes are killing people, all surrounded around and crowding about like you have been. And then, let's not also forget what happened at St Thomas's Hospital on Thursday, among other places, organised by none other than the shit-snivelling police. That even Ramonin London Mayor and snivelling shitweasel Sadiq Khan has had to slam because, as the article headlines here, Sadiq Khan slams Met Police Chief Cressida Dick after police and crowds of COVID idiots ignore social distancing during clap for carers publicity stunt in central London. And I think you will agree, COVID idiots certainly covers the people that were outside St Thomas's Hospital and any other hospital there is, virtue signalling their life away with this nonsensical clap for carers. and of course the police for the reasons we've outlined in this video, and of course them joining in with the stupid clap outside St Thomas's, organised by Cressida Dick and her Keystone cops. It's not often you'll find yourself agreeing with Sadiq Khan, but for once he's actually right on this. London Mayor Sadiq Khan is the latest to criticise Met Police Chief Cressida Dick after she joined hundreds of people ignoring social distancing rules to clap for the NHS. The busy crowd gathered on Westminster Bridge at 8 PM on Thursday under the noses of police officers, including the leader of the force. They are the ones who organised this gathering. Daily Mail, you need to actually point that out. The police literally organised this. So it wasn't under their nose, it was with their full-on consent. Journalists walking down the street or someone chilling in the park, hundreds of metres away from someone else, is against the law. But a bunch of these worthless Keystone cops virtue signalling outside St Tommy's is perfectly fine. Critics on Twitter branded Miss Dick the worst commissioner of all time after the failed photo opportunity became a public embarrassment, much like many of the police forces across the country as we've seen recently. Police had planned the event to showcase support for key workers, turning their car blue lights on, but the applause resulted in overcrowding. So they had planned it for a bit of mainstream and social media virtue signalling, but obviously it's backfired on them, and they have just been shown to be a complete bunch of incompetent fuckpigs who don't even follow their own advice, while screaming at members of the public that they are killing people by walking down the street and video recording these overzealous coppers. Mr. Khan has now said he believes questions will be asked within the capital's emergency services over how such flouting of government guidance was allowed to happen. He told worthless Ramona James O'Brien on LBC Radio, "I am equally concerned that the social distancing rules don't seem to have been observed. Well, apparently there's been fines dished out for doing less than this, so I think it's more than worrying about the social distancing rules. What about the so-called laws that the police have been running around enforcing on other people? Why are none of these people that were there with the consent of the old bill being arrested and charged or given fines or whatever for doing what other people haven't even done?" This is what's really annoying and showing the utter hypocrisy of the police at the moment. Junior Doctor Damir Rafi captured the sickening moment in a Twitter video that has been watched more than 10 million times and has caused outrage on social media. Dr. Rafi, who works at St Thomas's Hospital, said, "I'm a doctor working at the hospital, that's right there. And yes, I was somewhat perplexed by the lack of social distancing." Which I would have to agree with. It's completely baffling, and never mind that. What about everyone else who's told to stay at their home while these virtue signalling arseholes can do what they want, willy-nilly? Let's take a quick look at the video. What a bunch of clapping seals. It's just absolutely incredible. This whole clap for carers nonsense is bollocks in my opinion. It's just literally, like I've said, another opportunity for these lunatics to virtue signal, which we all know they love to do. I appreciate the NHS and the work that all others who help the public do, but I don't stand out there virtue signalling with this nonsensical clapping, and I never will. I show them my respect by the way that I deal with them, as everyone should. And here we actually have the video itself of the Met Police Chief herself, Cressida Dick, clapping on Westminster Bridge. So let's take a look at that, because we can't leave her out. You know what, I can't stand any more of that virtue signalling nonsense. You get the point there. It's just incredible. That shot there that you see though was obviously the publicity shot. They didn't want you to see this bit down here or anything like that. The coppers in that 2-minute video there, which we only watched a few seconds of, obviously showed the coppers a fair old distance apart from each other. Shame about the rest of them on the right hand side of that shot, which is conveniently cut out. But the doctor at St Tommy's Hospital decided the world should know and tweeted it out. So well done him. Because it's an absolute disgrace. Now, I'm not going to read any more of it. We all know how stupid this is and how much of an idiot it makes Cressida Dick look. But goes to the wider trend, as we heard earlier, of a fair few police forces around the country doing stupid shit, either like the Met Police here, or, as we see earlier from both the Met Police and others, overzealous policing of non-existent laws. Now, before I go, I've started doing live streams and uploading gaming content on my second channel. If you would like to come and join me for a live stream to chat in real time, have an interest in gaming related content on YouTube, or just want to follow me over there because you are a legend, the link will be down in the video description below and as a pinned comment. I hope to see you all there. Now, as always, before I go, I want to thank our PayPal, Patreon, Subscribestar and YouTube members for supporting the channel, along with everyone who watches my videos. Remember to let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. Leave a like, subscribe with the notification bell and share this video as it helps the channel a lot, and I will see you all in the next one.
There is a pattern consistent throughout history of oppressed people turning on the oppressors, slaves against their owners, the peasantry against the feudal barons, colonies, Mr. Verhofstadt, against their empires, and that is why Britain is leaving. And it doesn't matter which language you use, we are going, and we are glad to be going. We're off.